Alright guys, so on today's vlog, what I'm going to do is take a graduated bob that we cut a few haircuts ago, and I'm going to turn that into a layered bob haircut, which I think you guys will like a lot. It's very usable, salon friendly. Here is the end result, so you can see how it kind of stacks up a little bit more in the back. It's a little sleeker, it's not so fat. It's got the layers around the face, so it's a nice and sleek look. And the cool thing about this cut and why I want you to hang in there until the very end is that I'm going to show you through the wet cut, then I'm going to show you what it looks like when you blow dry the wet cut. It's an unfinished bob. It's not dry cut. There's no dry cutting, no texturizing. So the haircut the shape is too much. It's got too much weight build up. So I'm going to show you guys how to take that away. So that's what I really think you're going to get from this haircut. So just hang in there, watch till the end. When you get to the end, let me know. I love seeing that. And also, to answer your guys' questions about the mannequin heads, I use a mannequin head every day because of the fact that I'm creating a video every day, so it's very hard to find a real model. And I don't want to use my clients because I don't feel like throwing my clients in videos is really the way I want to do business. So I use the mannequin head. Thank you to Pivot Point for sending me tons of mannequin heads that allow me to do the vlog. They're big supporters of it, and that's pretty much it. So here we go. We're gonna get started with our step-by-step. All right guys, so we're gonna start off this haircut by taking a right-hand side parting down to mid-crown, then across mid-crown and down the parietal ridge. What this is gonna do is give me a little bit of an offset, kind of asymmetrical rectangle on the top of the head. Then I go straight down center back and separate the two sides, clip it away, and now I'm gonna work diagonal forward partings and start my cutting. So I want to work with the head shape here. The whole point of that is I'm collapsing the shape, so we're creating more of a layered bob. This is from a previous haircut where we did a complete horizontal graduated bob. Now we're switching it to a vertical diagonal forward layered bob, which is going to take out a lot of the weight in the haircut. So depending on how your guest wants to wear their hair, there's two different options for you. So just bringing everything straight back to the previous section. So I'm working my way across the back, just bringing it back slightly, about an inch back to the previous parting to make my cut. Now I work vertically, so I shift from diagonal forward to vertical when I get to right behind the ear, and I work that all the way back, bringing everything straight back to a stationary guide at this point. What this is going to do is push a ton of weight to the front, so that's something that we're going to address later in the haircut, but just keep that in mind. When you're over-directing something all the way back to a stationary guide, you're going to have a lot of weight as the end result when the hair falls forward. So working diagonal forward, still the big switch here is that my fingers are now pointing down. On the other side, my fingers were pointing up. The reason for that is it allows me to comb my new hair towards the middle of the head, towards the guide. We talked about this over and over again, you never want to comb the guide to the new hair because that shifts the guide from where it lives, and if you do that, you're making the guide shorter, which is going to make one side of your haircut shorter. So to keep consistent, you need to comb the hair the same exact way on both sides of the head. So working vertically, another key thing to look at is how the head shape curves up around the crown. That's obviously going to give us our graduated point. So we're layering the hair past the occipital bone to low crown, and then when we get to the mid crown part, you can see that the elevation of the hair is actually more at a 0-degree angle, so that's going to give us our weight line there. Bringing everything straight back, pushing that weight forward, just keeping nice clean sections. I'm using the fine teeth of the comb. That's helping keep more tension on the hair, and that's pretty much it. It's a pretty simple structured haircut. And I think that this is a very common haircut that you'll see people doing in the salon. The big thing that I want to go over in a little bit is how we can kind of make adjustments to that to make it have a more modern feel. So we're going to go through the back. We're going to work diagonal back through the crown area. What I want to do is take and just blend in the crown to the bottom, more around the high occipital bone area. So I'll take my guide from top of the occipital bone and then just follow it straight up. So keeping that weight line in there, but just blending it a bit. Everything's being over directed back to that one point. So you can see that there's a slight bit of over direction coming away from me, which is going to push that kind of weight around the corner, and it's going to be a little bit longer right behind the ear, which I like that feeling. So everything's going to come back to that guide. It's going to be stationary there. So you can see in the bottom left diagram how I kind of angle the haircut. So we're cutting short to long, just keeping a little bit of extra length in there. And you comb everything back until you run out of hair, and then you're good to go. Now we're going to start our blow dry, do a flat wrap blow dry. And what I want to do is show you guys what this end result would look like pre dry hair cutting. All right, guys, so I want to pause the haircut right now, the step-by-step, because I want to talk to you about the status of where we're at in this cut. This is a haircut that I am constantly seeing all over the place, this kind of half-done haircut with the stack in the back, the weight on the sides. What I wanted to do is show you guys what this looks like right now, and then I want to go in and I'm going to do a ton of dry cutting for you guys and show you how to modernize and how to really finish the look. It's not even about making it modern, it's about making it functional, because there is no way you're gonna wear this any other way but this, because it's so heavy. So we're gonna go through, take out some of the weight, really create a finished look out of this haircut, and using those dry cutting techniques. So hopefully you guys will take that from this video and use it. So here we go, back to the step-by-step. All right, guys, so we're going to start off in our dry cutting portion of the haircut. I'm going through with my Vibra-Straight iron, just polishing out the ends of the haircut. What this is doing is allowing me to see where the weight seems heavy and where we need to go in and just lighten it up a little bit. So I'm going to take a horizontal section throughout the side. I already noticed that this side is heavy. The sides are going to be heavy because we over-directed everything back to a stationary guide. So now I want to go through and diffuse the weight. So I go through horizontal, elevate the hair as high as I possibly can, and just work. I'm using a Mizutani Puffin dry cutting scissor. I love this scissor. It's a 5.5 inch blade. It goes in nice and deep into the section and just diffuses any weight that's built up that I don't want. So going through horizontally in the back as well, doing the same thing, elevating it nice and high, not trying to take or create a line at this point, just diffusing some of the weight. So what I'll do is I'll take that section, I'll actually look in there and see where the density seems heaviest. And then if I see a really dense spot, that's where I'll do most of my point cutting. So I'm not going through there evenly and cutting. I'm going through there and actually visually looking to see where it's really heavy. So right there, you can see that part's heavy. So I'm going to go through and diffuse that a little bit. Same thing on the top, work that line out a little bit, go a little bit deeper, just removing that weight, creating that texture and a lot of movement, and modernizing the haircut. So same thing here, going through, you can see how the ends, you can see light through there, and then as it gets a little bit deeper, it's more dense. So you're just going in there and polishing and removing that. Now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to actually cut a line, but a nice broken line, because I want to create a more side angled fringe in the front. Nothing crazy. I'm not trying to create a short bang in the haircut, but just something soft that lays across her cheekbone. So working diagonal forward section, over directing it to myself, to a stationary guide, but the guide is really diffused because we're doing some deep point cutting there. Now going through slide cutting using the same scissor. This is a good look at the Mizutani Puffin, just going through, gliding through the hair. The reason a dry cutting scissor is so good is because the blade is so thick that it has a ton of power when you go in to cut hair. So it can get through pretty much anything, and that's what makes it a great dry cutting scissor. So I'm just going through, you can see how I push the top away and then I slide cut and then I pull the top back around. That's because I wanted to almost disconnect the underneath. You don't have to go through and slide cut the entire side of the head. What you want to do is go in and just diffuse the bottom, then push the top over, and it makes it look nice and soft. Then I'll go through a little tease cutting, connect it all together. Same thing on the opposite side, just going through slide cutting just to break up and add that texture into the haircut. I'm always going through and working with my hands. When I move it with my hands, it just allows me to see kind of how it's going to fall and how that texture is going to move within the haircut. The last thing I'm going to do, I got my Mizutani Type Z dual texture scissor, so both sides have teeth, and I just go through and glide into the back portion just to add, again, more texture and movement. And then I always blow out the hair to get all those loose hairs out of it, and to kind of bring life back into the haircut. That's how I see it. So we're going through, I've got the Ergo paddle brush working through it, and then I just finish it with a little bit of hairspray, and she is good to go. So I hope you guys like this haircut. If you do, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you want to see next. And thanks for watching. All right, you guys know what to do. If you made it through this video, let me know in the comments below. Also, if you like this haircut, hit the like button, hit the share button, share this video with all of your friends. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.
We had a promise made, 4 hands and then away, both under influence. We had divine sense to know what to say. Mind is a razor blade.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, guys? Back 2 days in a row with the vlog, so I'm feeling very confident about the content that's being created, and I want to keep this momentum going. Today I want to focus on a men's cut. Now the men's cut that we're going to do is one of my clients, so it's going to be a very salon friendly cut. Nice, kind of taken in on the sides and then shorter but with a lot of texture on the top. I have a really cool texturizing technique that I'm going to show you guys called channeling, if you haven't ever done that before. I know that a lot of clients out there ask for it, so if you didn't know what it was, now you will. If you did know what it is, it's a good little refresher to use the technique. Also, he has a pretty wicked cowlick in the back of his head, so I want to show you guys how to make that look more uniform, kind of make it go together. So a lot of things going to happen in this haircut today. Make sure you post in the comments below. Let me know what you think. I love seeing those comments. Here we go with our technique. Thanks for watching.
There's a lot of texture in it,
yeah,
which I think I like. I think I just want a little more style.
Okay. But you like the kind of shorter with texture.
I like it longer, yeah, but like this length and more is good. I mean, even a little shorter was okay, but
okay. What about on the sides?
This should be a little, yeah, a little tighter, and especially back here. Okay. And you used to do this cool thing where you just follow your hairline, and then match the other side. Okay. Because it's like weird.
This top part, do you want it to grow longer than it is?
Maybe a little. A
little bit?
Just a little.
So we'll just texturize that.
Okay.
Does that sound good? The sides will take in a little bit.
Okay.
Cool. All right, guys, so we're going to get Mark draped up. Thank you to MinervaBeauty.com for the capes. I love the quality of them. We're going to start off using our 3-guard on our Andis Master Series clipper. And I'm just going to work all the way up to the parietal ridge and then kind of slightly pull the clipper out as I get to the parietal ridge, which is going to build up that nice graduation line in the haircut. And what I want that graduation line to do is follow his head shape. So I wanted to keep a little bit of weight right at his recession point. You can see where it kind of goes back just a little bit. So I wanted to leave that length in there so that when we style the hair, you know, it gives a little bit of a cover up at that point. But I also like the look of the style that way as well. Then I'm going to work the clipper through the back. Now, this is my 3-guard, like I said before. I didn't want to go too much tighter than that because if you look at Mark's, the perimeter line of his haircut, it gets pretty weak and it also has some cowlicks. So he's got a lot of hair, but most of his hair is on the top of his head. Around the edges, it's definitely a completely different density. So I think that's something you'll find in a lot of men's haircuts that you do. It's like you can really see that difference. In a women's cut, you can't really see it that much, but with a men's cut, you can definitely see that his density is a lot lighter around the edges. So just go through and work it. And now I'm going to go in with my Mizutani Solid. This is a Blacksmith Fit Solid scissor. It's one of the newer scissors from Mizutani. It's titanium finish, so it's got that black look to it. But it's a 7-inch blade. I love this for scissor over comb. It's got a lot of power. And I'm just going to go through and now blend that graduation that I created. So I like doing a lot of scissor detail work. I go through with the clipper just to get most of the work done, get my length the way that I want it. And then I go in and I customize it with the scissor. The difference for me between a scissor and a clipper is a clipper is going to kind of pass over a lot of hair at once, but it kind of rides each ridge of the head. And a scissor is going to give you a little more fine-tuned detail because you're not cutting as much hair at once. So obviously I can work that comb around the ridges of his head, keep the balance feel to the haircut, and that's pretty much it for that. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to saturate the hair and start working the back crown area. Now I'm going in with my Mizutani DB20 scissor. This is a 5.7-inch scissor. I love this for any precision cutting that I do. And I'm going to go through and work the crown. Now I start in the very middle and then I work my way out to just behind the ear. And you'll notice that I push the hair on whatever side I'm on, I push it towards the center. That keeps a consistent line for my guide as I work my way around. A lot of people just kind of pull up men's hair and start cutting at it, and they might do a lot of point cutting to blend it. I still like to have a precision feel in a lot of the men's cut. Now we're going to go through the top and I'm going to do a complete point cut to create that texture. If you remember in the consultation that I kind of showed you guys, the reason I wanted to show you that is because first off, it shows how kind of confusing it can get listening to somebody talk about what they want with their hair. So you got to really kind of pry those questions out. But he said that he didn't really want to lose a lot of length on top. So what I'm doing is just adjusting the top. So I'm going through and creating a lot of texture with the point cutting, but then kind of rounding off the edges because I don't want to square off his head too much. I want it to kind of flow with his head shape. So we just continue throughout the top of the head. At the very end, right around his forehead, I over direct it back just to pull a little extra length into the front. That goes with his style. I don't like it to all be the same length throughout the entire top. And then I go through and I blow dry. You'll notice I do a lot of blow drying with my men's cuts because it's just like a women's cut. You want to finish it. You want to blow dry the hair so it sits the right way so that you know that your cut has the right balance to it and you don't have certain weight lines in there. So now I'm going to go through with my T-trimmer. This is an Andis cordless T-trimmer. I'm going to go through and really just sharpen up the edges. So just going around each part of the haircut, I want it to be nice and clean looking. Again, he's got a weaker hairline. So as I'm going through and around, I make sure that I put those nice sharp lines into it to really make it stand out. Now we're going to tackle the cowlick. This is probably the most important part of Mark's haircut, and probably the most challenging part is to blend the cowlick to make sure that it just looks as natural as possible. So I go through, I take it as short as I can. I don't fight the way that the hair wants to lay. I think that's the biggest thing is when you go in there, you don't want to lift the hair and push the hair where it doesn't want to be, because no matter what, it's going to pop up and look like that. So I go through it. Now you can also see that it kind of grows out longer in different places. So what I do is I go through and I just bring the hairline up just a little bit to match kind of the length that we're at. You're still going to see some different patches in there. There's nothing you can do about that. I don't want to take it up too far, so I just try to keep it as natural looking as possible and work through there. And what you'll notice is I will go in and I'll keep taking that part a little bit shorter, but you can see that it's starting to blend already. So now we're going in with our 3-guard closed, and that's the blade as short as it can go. And I'm just going to go through and just tighten up right around that back area. Like I said, I wanted to take that cowlick a little bit shorter, and now I'm going to go in with my 2-guard open. That's the longest that a 2-guard can go, and just take that a little bit tighter. All right, so now we're gonna go in with our texturizing technique. This is called channeling. I'm using my Mizutani Puffin. You can use a regular cutting scissor for this. You just wanna make sure that you open and close the blade as you slide it across. What you're doing is creating little pieces throughout the haircut and creating a ton of texture. It's a really fun technique. It's something that guys get addicted to. They want it every single time they come in. And now we're gonna do another kind of point cutting technique where I take my hand, I lift up the hair, and as it falls out of my hand, I point cut through it, just adding some more channels and different peaks and valleys in the haircut to create that textured look at the end. So that's a pretty good look at it. You're not cutting a lot of hair doing this. You just want to go in and just take out some light pieces. So last little detail work around that cowlick. So finishing up Mark's haircut with the Type Z dual texture scissor just helps blend any weight lines that I see at the very end of the haircut. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys like the cut. Definitely let me know in the comments what you think, and thanks for watching.
Awesome.
It's okay because it balances it out, because if my hand before you does not, and if I'm after you, then not you. So really when it comes to like the PSI for the day, I'm turning it out.
All right, guys, and like always, you know what to do. If you made it this far in the video, let me know in the comments below. I love seeing how far you made it, because I think the true dedicated hairdressers are gonna make it all the way to the end of the videos. So thank you so much for watching. Again, hit the like button, hit the share button. Let's grow this thing. All I'm asking for you guys to do is share this video with one friend. Share it with one friend that's a hairdresser so we can keep this thing growing. Thank you so much for the support. Go over to fsesocial.com, download the app, and let's get our conversation going. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.